The following message is sponsored and paid for by Saints Row, organized by an internal advertising team separate from our editorial team. Coming August 23rd to GameStop, it's a brand new Saints Row. Saints Row is the story of a startup company. It's just that the company's business that the Saints are in just happens to be crime. In this version of the game, you can experience the biggest and best Saints Row playground ever created. The unique sprawling world they call Santo Ileso is the backdrop for a wild, larger-than-life sandbox of thrilling side hustles, criminal ventures, and blockbuster missions where you can shoot, drive, bike, and wingsuit your way to the top of your self-made empire. Fans can choose from 2 Saints Row exclusive GameStop-only editions. The Notorious Edition, which is a collectible edition full of digital and physical goodies, including a steelbook, limited edition Saints Row poster, art book, Santo Ileso postcards, character art cards, and 3 DLC packs. Or fans can choose the Saints Row Criminal Customs Edition, which includes the base game with 2 kick-ass DLC packs. Be your own boss when Saints Row launches on August 23rd.
Be in the shot, so I'll just keep my foot
You
down.
don't got that big of feet.
Wait, how would yeah? I was gonna say, that
They're average sized.
Yeah, with nice shoes on too.
They're 11s. They're actually a little big for me. My big toe's like right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday. And if you're joining us this week, you'll see that it's a lot more than just Thursday. I am Alex Stadnik. I'm the host of the GI Show. With me, as always, the illustrious Alex Van Aken in the flesh.
Hello.
Yeah.
We're actually still in Minneapolis
Really
in our
touching my
apartment,
knee here. Yeah.
but you're in my apartment now. So normally we record down the hallway from each other.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
we're live.
No, we're in Los Angeles, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's important to
well,
establish. Summer Game Fest. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm glad to be here.
Exactly.
I'm tired and I'm sorry I'm rambling.
It's
but
okay. That's the energy.
we've
we
never
get this week.
podcasted in person together.
No, it's the first
It's
time.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't have to like talk over you to compensate for the.
You just
for
get
the,
to talk over me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no delay anymore.
Yeah, beautiful. Join us each week alongside a rotating crew of GI editors and special guests from around the industry to bring you the latest news, reviews, and big man swag your eyes and ears can handle. And this week, we have a special one. We have a special guest here that I'm very excited that is joining us. We have Marcus Stewart. Hello.
Hello, I'm still getting used to the idea that you guys have bodies, but you know,
Right?
below your
Yeah,
necks.
yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad that worked out for you guys.
Yeah. To have a body. yeah, we're
have
happy
you seen
about
other
this too.
cases where that wasn't the case?
You don't want to know what Florida's like.
Oh God.
And then special guest joining us from Fanbyte. He is the news editor. He's been on Kind of Funny, Fanbyte, former GI, Imran Khan. Hello, sir.
Hello. Everyone looks very different now. Like the last E3 I went to with Game Informer, there were like several different things. Like you were Leo, you were Ben Hansen.
Yep.
You were still the same.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You're getting paid for your work now. That's what we get into.
yes, that's a
That is
nice
the
change.
difference.
Yeah.
So Imran, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
What have you been up to? You're the news editor at Fanbyte. You know, you're a busy man. Like, you know, what's life like post like GI, Kind of Funny, like all that kind of stuff?
It's been good. I've been running the news department at Fanbyte, building up something new there.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just kind of like more meetings than you would think.
Yeah.
It's a decent amount of it is breaking news. Like the other day, I reported on 1-2 Switch,
Yep.
or the sequel to 1-2 Switch, I should say, which is a very fun email to send to Nintendo, being like, "Hey, I'm about to read or put this story that you have a game that sucks so bad you can't release it. Can you please comment on this to confirm or deny?" They did not reply. No, they acknowledged they got the email, didn't send a comment. So, I don't know. Probably burn some bridges there. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It was a
Fun.
great piece for what it's worth.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah. So nice. Okay. You guys are building quite the crew over there.
Yeah.
It seems. You have a really creative, unique staff. Do you wanna talk about who's on staff and that kind of stuff? Like,
Well, that requires me to remember. No,
Shout out to Ken, my Ken. Hello.
Kenneth Shepard's great. Kenneth is my direct report. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Got Natalie Flores, who is one of the best writers in the industry.
Yeah.
We have like kick-ass producers like Paul Tomeo and Jordan Mallory.
Yeah.
We have a hell of an EIC and Daniel Riendo. Like it is one of the reasons I joined Fanbyte is because they're like, we're building one of the best teams out there.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, I want to be a part of that.
For
I,
sure.
I don't know how long the ride will last, but I'm willing to go with it as long as it can because this seems like a very cool crew to Fury Road with.
That's awesome. That's a great description.
Is that how you get to work every day? Is on like those metal like cars, and you're just going through the desert?
I strap someone as my blood bag to the hood, and then like
Yeah.
I never really need to use them, but it's better to have them there than not.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I don't know how to transition off of that, but we're very happy to have you.
Thank you.
It's the first time I've ever met you. Literally like 30 seconds ago.
Yes.
I've heard.
That's the best way to meet somebody, really.
Jump on a
It's like,
podcast.
hey, nice to meet you. All right, let's go
Yeah.
sit in front of microphones.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Today, first day of SGF, Summer
Yeah.
Games Fest, if you're not familiar with that. And we actually got the stream today.
It was a miracle, man. I just want to say again,
yeah.
shout out to John Carson. Shout out to my mom. Because
helped.
they both helped out, believe it or not.
Yeah.
John ran the stream for us behind the scenes while he wrote.
Yeah.
And then my mom helped me buy the hotspot on my plan.
And gave birth to you.
She did give birth to me, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of part of the
Part of
her being my mother thing.
Yeah.
But shout out to that too, Mom. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Yeah. And I think it was, we can get into it. It was a good stream.
Yeah.
Not great, I would say, in my opinion, but we can jump in. But
Yeah.
since we're going to keep these shows a little shorter, we're just going to go over the highlights of what we really enjoyed. So, I don't know. Do we want to start general impressions, Imran, since you're the guest? Do you want to general impression it?
So Keely always starts these things like by massively hyping them.
Right.
Like this is SGF. This is good. He doesn't want to call it the competitor to E3, but it is. He pays attention to that way often.
Right.
And then like a couple of days before, he's like, "Guys, it's not going to be that big. don't.
down,
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
Why
I
is
don't know where
everybody
you're
so
getting this
excited?
idea. Yeah. It's like Santa coming down the chimney being like, "I don't know what you thought I was going to do." Like, but like this time he went, "There will be nothing like huge."
Yeah.
And then when say, "Well, Elden Ring was an announced game, and that was huge. Like you guys liked that last year."
Yeah.
And so I expected something like maybe not the biggest thing in the world, but something that may for the next year be like one of the biggest games, like Elden Ring was this year.
Right.
We didn't really get that. I don't feel like.
No.
I expected, just based on his relationship with Kojima, I expected Overdose or whatever that thing is.
Whatever, yeah.
Or Death Stranding 2, which is what was
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus started talking about, but we didn't get either of those things, which, fine. Those are not announced projects. We didn't need to expect them.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhat blunted by the fact that Last of Us Part 1 was announced or leaked 1 hour beforehand.
Yeah. And you could feel that, especially when Druckmann got on the stage. It's like, oh, they're not happy about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Druckmann even made a joke about it that feels like it's one of those jokes of like, this is the kind of joke he'd make if he was choking someone.
Yeah.
He's like, if someone at PlayStation doesn't leak my next game first, like,
Yikes.
someone's getting fired, I think.
For real. Yeah.
But yeah,
I hope not. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
Everybody has those days.
Yeah.
Could, yeah.
Give them some slack.
Is that Hannah Montana?
It was, yeah.
also that game has been rumored for like a year.
Yeah,
I want to say it was
yeah.
a Schreier thing a
Yeah.
year ago or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But like, it was an okay show with enough like interesting, oh, that looks cool kind of games
Right.
that I was happy enough to watch it.
Right.
It was not we're never going to get the Sony 2015 show again.
Right.
It's never we'll get some good directs here and there because Nintendo's so quiet, but the kind of show that was banger after banger after banger that like have been dream games,
Right.
that's just not going to happen anymore. And I think Keely recognizes that, but you can't materialize those announcements if they don't come to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into Last of Us here in a little bit because I think that's a really good talker. So Marcus, how about you? Feelings on the show?
Yeah, these shows are weird when you're editorial because you have one eye on the show and then one eye on the story that you're desperately trying to write.
Right,
So it can
yeah.
get a little tricky trying to get a sense of things. But I think, as Imran mentioned, Keely getting out ahead of time and saying, like, hey, maybe don't get too pumped. Keeping that in mind, I think I got mostly what I wanted out of it.
Right.
I knew, like, I'm not going to wish for some, like, pie in the sky things. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But stuff like TMNT getting a date, that's,
Yeah.
like, for me personally, big. I'm excited for that. Seeing Witchfire was awesome again. Routine. I've been following that game for a long time. That was a
Right.
huge surprise for me.
2012 was when it was announced.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that was a game that I would check on every year or 2 years and just see, like, is this happening? So
Yeah.
that was my, like, oh my God moment of the stream, really.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think it was a good stream, and I think that the games that were shown are, like, big games, exciting looking games. It's probably as good as it maybe could be given whatever circumstances that we don't know about in terms of like COVID. You know, he touched on Replace not being there because real life stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I'm content with it, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I think the point about it being, like, this feels like when we thought about, like, what COVID would do to the industry, like, 2 years ago, this feels like that result where it's like, people just don't have, like, stuff right now. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And I think there are some exciting stuff coming, but, yeah, it definitely... It's missing that big power moment, like we talked about.
And then I guess what it would have been, like you mentioned, was leaked right before this show.
Yeah. But even then, I'm
yeah, sort of.
Yeah, right. So, Alex, I know we talked about it on stream a little bit, but thoughts on the show today?
I'm with you. So I was just looking to see at some of the announcements to refresh my brain. I mean, honestly, Goat Simulator 3, huge. No, but that did take me by surprise.
That was a good joke. Yeah. I feel like I appreciate, because I was like, oh, they're really doing the Dead Island again?
Yeah.
I guess I get it, but they set that up well. The joke was pretty well performed. Like,
honestly, it was funny.
I was convinced. I was like, oh, I guess they just reworked the art style.
That's what I was thinking,
This looks bad, but like I'm with it. And then it was, a bunch of goats came out.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this isn't the main ass. This is,
Also,
anyways.
there isn't a Ghost Simulator 2, right?
Yes.
I did not count wrong. Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about
joke
that.
only works once, but when you pull it off, great.
Yeah, well done. So I'm excited for the game.
It's very good. I enjoyed the stream. Kind of maybe underwhelming, but I felt like I had my expectations set going into it. Just looking at like the list of partners, things we'd heard, behind the scenes. I felt like my expectations were relatively, appropriate. My highlights. I mean, I thought. Although its themes are a little iffy, but that Nightingale game was that new survival game. I thought Witchbrook looked awesome, Marcus.
Was it Witchfire?
Witchfire, got it. Man, that was wild when they just started shooting.
There's been a few witch games in the last year or so.
Yeah, Witchfire.
Witch.
And it's funny, in my brain, while you were talking, I was like, Witchfire, not Witchbrook. Witchfire, not Witchbrook. And then I did it anyways. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm just very excited for Callisto after seeing that footage and it looks horrifying. Imran, I'm not a horror guy at all, but RE Village, I played through that whole thing. I was like, oh, I really like this. And I've slowly been kind of wading into those waters. I've been playing a little bit of the Quarry during the review phase, helping out and assisting with that. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for Callisto. That might be my most anticipated at this point.
So as not a horror guy, can I ask you, how do you feel about every game now being just Dead Space?
Yeah, right?
Because there's like Dead Space, there's Callisto Protocol, there's another game that I forget the name of, but that was also shown there.
Fort Solis or whatever?
Fort Solis,
Where I was like, as you mentioned, like doing the stream, typing up a thing, looking back, I was like, did we go back to Callisto Protocol?
Yeah, right. Like what's that?
There was the new Aliens.
Descent or whatever.
I already forgot. That was the first thing.
And
I already
then what
forgot
was the
about
game? It wasn't, I keep thinking Replace, but that's not right. Routine.
Yeah. Very weird. Yes. I was like, okay, I thought vampires were back, but clearly
it's space horror.
It's space horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I was pretty excited. I thought High Water looked interesting. That little, I think, Rogue Games, and I'm not sure the other company attached, but yeah, there's some highlights. I'm excited to get to play them, and then meaningful updates. I feel like too. Something we were waiting on.
Right.
Having seen more of how Saints Row has progressed since I got to work on the cover story on that and go hands-on with that, seeing just how it's shaping up was encouraging, because I've been a naysayer. Like, I thought what I played was fun for our cover stuff, but it was definitely early. And I was like, are they going to hit this? But it looks like it's shaping up nice. You got to play the Boss Factory stuff.
Yeah. Which you can go check out on YouTube.com right now.
So overall, it was cool. It was cool.
There's an option in the Boss Factory thing to, under the teeth options, just says, oops, all molars.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, this thing's pretty good. I like this.
When I changed the teeth to not cotton candy, but candy corn, I was like, done. This is goated.
What
right
the
now.
heck?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good, like I said, I thought it was good. I usually try to view these things as am I going to play that at some point this year? That's like 70 to 80% yes. You know what I mean? With most of the titles that we saw. So I think for what he had, I think it was solid. We're not gonna talk about it like you said, 2015 E3, but here's what it is. So specifically though, he opened the show with Street Fighter, which they're doing a crazy push, I feel like, right now.
Yeah.
Going from not knowing that game exists to I feel like we know a lot about it now. And I think you pointed out online too, everything was leaking, about it.
Yes.
Like, so I don't know.
So
like,
we have like now like triple confirmation all those leaks are real because
Yeah.
like that was the Guile design in those leaks.
Yeah.
So like I didn't initially suspect Capcom leaked those themselves.
Oh,
but now
okay.
I've been thinking like it's worked out really well for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like people were iffy about that game originally. It's like I don't know, Street Fighter V wasn't great.
Right.
Like, is this going to be? Then all those designs were shown. Then those got confirmed over and over. And like they've leaked out just enough to. It's not embargo, but tomorrow we get to actually play the game.
Right.
And like those will be the actual first gameplay impressions.
Yeah.
So it actually feels like a marketing plan in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's true because I don't know where someone would have gotten that original art besides just Capcom having it.
Right.
I don't know where they would have taken those like that footage of like Cammy and Ken that like confirmed the art.
Right.
But it all seems just on the side of I could believe somebody went, what if we did it this way?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I buy it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that theory.
Yeah. Are any of you guys Street Fighter fans?
Yeah.
I like Street Fighter.
I did not play 5. I completely skipped 5 because of how poorly it launched. Like by the time they kind of got it where
Yeah.
it needed to be, I just lost interest. But I grew up with Street Fighter 2. I love Street Fighter 2. I feel like all the odd numbers, like because 3 I was like less hot on until Third Strike. 4 I was obsessed with. Skip 5, so I want to be excited for 6. And the things I've seen for 6 between today and the State of Play stuff looks really good. Like I think the art looks nice. The animations look fantastic. I want to know more about that single player, whatever Tekken Force looking thing
Yeah.
that's in there.
Yeah.
Excited to see Guile with that goatee. He looks real dapper. Disappointed we didn't get a Guile theme remix.
Yeah.
But I really hope that game is good and also that it rubs off. Or it gets some of that success that Capcom's had. Because I feel like Street Fighter V was like the tail end of sort of a weird phase for Capcom where like some of their big games weren't really hitting. Because like right after that was kind of where they launched into that renaissance they've been on between like the Resident Evils and the Monster Hunters doing as well as they have been. They have been on a roll the last few years. So I'm hoping Street Fighter V can kind of
They've got that confidence.
and doesn't derail it again.
I mean, so they have someone new in charge of the fighting, or someone new to the fighting game department in charge of it now. So it used to be Yoshinori Ono, now it's Ryozo Tsujimoto, who, like, besides being the grandson of the founder, is like the producer of the Monster Hunter series. He's very successful within Capcom.
Yeah.
So I feel like what we're seeing now, Street Fighter, is somebody who, one, no one will say no to, but two, like, is also very like confident in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just going through like, here's how we fix Street Fighter.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
I'm not a fan. I've dug the art style so far, and I'm excited to get hands on with it and stuff like that.
You can get
So-
these hands on
Catch these
when I
hands.
give these hands to you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's going to be John that wipes the floor with
Yeah,
the
oh yeah.
100%,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, multiverses, that stream. I just want to say my Shaggy has given me a newfound confidence in fighting games, and I'm ready just
You
to
need
beat
to find
your
the
ass,
Shaggy
man.
in every fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Can you guys patch them in?
Yeah.
Can we do a crossover?
Yeah. Next, they move on to Aliens: Dark Descent or Darkest Descent.
Dark Descent, I think.
I think Dark Descent.
Yeah.
That seems like it would fit under Aliens better than Darkest. So.
Yeah.
It started. I was like, okay, this is definitely Alien, but is this like a fire team elite thing? Like, what is this? And it's an isometric like shooter, right? Like maybe twin stick. They didn't give a ton of information,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, it's at least different enough that I could get excited versus if it's just another third-person shooter that I play for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel slighted during that trailer where the guy's narrating and he's like, we're facing a new kind of evil? And then you just see a xenomorph. You're like,
It's the same evil.
I was like, oh, what's this going to be? And you're like, oh, it's just,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Cool.
It was very funny when he was like narrating to himself and like he was just alone in the room. And,
He's just like,
aliens were coming in. It's like, are you talking to them or are they responding?
Yeah, apparently.
Can't believe it. Why'd you kill my buddies?
He's just like one man podcast
Yeah.
for his final moments.
Yeah. So 2023 for that one. Don't know a ton about outside of what we saw in there. So
Yeah.
And then I think it doesn't matter what was next. Callisto is what we'll talk about next.
Yeah.
So cover story that we did. New trailer looked amazing. Like I don't know, where are you at, Imran? Because I know where we're at with Callisto. Where are you excited for it? Did you like what you saw today? Like that kind of stuff.
So first of all, I've never met Glenn Schofield.
Yeah.
I did not realize he was basically a GTA character. Like it's cool. I think it's like very cool. Dude could be on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
It's very neat.
Yeah.
But like it was neat to actually see him. But Callisto Protocol looks like Dead Space.
Yep.
They're not even trying not to make it look like Dead Space at all.
Right.
Like it has the back energy bar, it has the stomp,
Yep.
it has all that stuff. Cool. I feel bad for Dead Space remake a little bit because
Yeah.
like this is the more exciting product between the two of those things. I really dig what they've shown in that game so far. I'm honestly actually more excited since they've said it's not a PUBG universe game.
Right.
Like, I didn't know how they would make that work, and out of morbid curiosity was all that really kept me latched onto it.
Yeah.
But now that I know it's like, oh, they can just do whatever they want, that seems like a more interesting prospect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they just said PUBG takes place in the Callisto universe.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been cool though if you loaded into Callisto and all the buildings were just like sponges, like no texture, just like you're like, oh, I can see all the loot I need.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's neat. Yeah. Yeah, and in our interviews for the cover story too, they've said they're not afraid of their influence, right? They're like, we know where this is coming from, but I think it's in the combat that seems interesting and some of the dodging mechanics, like when we talk to the team and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
We saw the Schofield cut of the trailer today, and oh my god, the death animations are
Yeah, I recognized where they cut the clips before because I was like, that wasn't in the old trailer.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I've never seen a head decapitated
In that way.
That way, where it was like the back like third of it was still there, just like
Yeah.
chilling.
I mean, it really is just like a big old chomp.
Yeah, yeah.
And like
You
we
know.
mentioned before, like in your podcast with Brian, of the stuff we got to see for the cover story, they talked about the reference material of like looking at old like police crime scenes to see deformed, destroyed bodies for reference. So you see that, and you're like, what did they look at for that?
I kind
Like,
of
what
I kind
horrible
of feel
thing did
bad for the poor soul who had to go and like clock into work and be like, all right.
They seem really excited about it though when we talked to them. Like, oh,
they-
okay.
I guess you gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Yeah. And it's just
I'll never unsee this.
yeah. Oh my god.
They talked about they like took reference from there's an insect apparently that like throws up its intestines as like a defense mechanism that they based one of the monsters off of. It was like, oh, so this is the kind of horror that's gonna haunt me for my rest of my life, rest of my life as we play it. So
Yeah. It looks good though.
yeah, and then we saw what else did we see from
Doesn't matter because Neon White is out
oh,
soon. Like a week from today, right? The 16th?
16th. Yeah.
Yeah, I am very excited for
What-
Neon White.
The trailer I feel like was just like to announce the date, but like what is so exciting to you about that?
So I've played it, and I just want to play more of it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, me. Shout out to Jesse Vitelli. Ken was in there, and Eric from Destructoid. We were up till like I feel like 3 or 4 a.m. one night. I might be exaggerating. It was late. I was tired, but I wasn't going to bed because we were all playing the Steam demo.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so much fun.
Okay.
Don't really care about the narrative, visual novel stuff. I, to be honest, skipped right through all that during the demo. But the gameplay and like, it's like when I got into like the Mario Odyssey speed, the Cooper runs.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I missed my time. All right, time to start over. It was just that. And when you had a Discord room of people all doing it at the same time, it was pretty great. And yeah, I just can't wait to play it, the full thing. Coming to Switch and PC, I am hesitant to. I'm curious how PC or Switch is going to be. Those Joy-Cons.
Right.
I guess if you have a Pro controller, you'll be okay. But
Yeah.
it requires like a good amount of like, moving your camera around, and I just feel like Switch is a bit at a disadvantage for FPS kind of stuff like that.
I think you need to do it like on screen with a Pro controller to have like the best. Like,
Yeah, and hey,
control.
maybe I'm dead wrong and it works great. I don't know, but I'm stoked for it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. If I'm missing anything, let me know. But like I said, we're not doing everything. But I feel like the last big hitter of that section was Modern Warfare 2. We had a very long demo of basically the cargo ship level from the first Modern Warfare. I don't know. Are either of you guys Modern Warfare fans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhat. So here's my issue with that trailer.
Okay.
That guy on the boat, clearly a soldier on a mission,
Yeah.
has body armor, has like given a like tactical gun.
Right.
Why does a soldier on a mission have a Molotov cocktail that is just a beer bottle and like a rat? Like they didn't give him like a special Molotov cocktail, or like here's all your stuff. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars like outfitting.
No
you.
grenades, though.
Yeah. If you got-
A tactical Molotov.
Yeah.
here's a Budweiser bottle.
It just has a U.S. Army just over it.
Or good beer. Here's Budweiser.
No, I mean they should really team up with The Rock for all of his energy drinks.
That
Good
was
God. God.
wild.
It was such a surreal. Like he couldn't even put on a shirt for that. Honestly,
No,
There
like,
was
he
such- I
clearly
was-
between like reps.
Yeah.
We were literally talking about Jeff Keighley's outfit because we were predicting what color shoes he was gonna wear, and then there's Naked Rock. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
To be fair, he has spent half of his life in front of audiences with no shirt.
but
So
I
this
need
is,
a
like, his
warning.
natural
I need
state.
a warning. I was expecting a T-shirt, you know,
Right.
and then the.
But it kept getting worse. Yeah, 'cause it was all self-promotion.
Yeah, have
Yeah.
you guys had a Zoa yet, by the way?
Hey, what now?
Have you had a Zoa? Did you guys go buy one after?
No.
No,
I will never have.
forgot
a
that
Zoe.
Get some after this?
No,
I was more baffled by the fact that like Keeley told Dwayne Johnson, "You give me like a tight 30 seconds."
oh yeah,
Like in 2 minutes and 30 seconds into that thing, he was not stopping. He was like, "Oh yeah, let me tell you about Black Adam. Black Adam's cool. Let's watch more Black Adam."
I feel like Jeff Keighley knows how Vince McMahon feels now.
Yeah. What a surreal, like, yeah, just totally
it
bizarre.
was just words and a 30-second trailer that
Oh,
I had no interest in.
Speaking of words, so they announced at this at Summer Games Fest, Layers of Fears,
Yes.
Years.
which is a insane title.
It's not good.
I had right after SGF a meeting with Bloober.
Oh, yeah?
With their marketing team, so they could explain to me what the title means, because they literally were like, we were afraid people wouldn't understand what this means, so we having meetings with journalists to explain to them.
I had that meeting this morning.
Yes, so like literally, it's a reimagining of Layers of Fear 1 and 2 that like combined into one game with a more modern mechanics. So that's what they're calling it, Layers of Fears, as opposed to like Layers of Fear 3
Because
or
the 1 and
whatever.
2.
or Layers
Yes.
of Fear remastered
Or remade
collection.
or whatever.
Yeah.
They told me remixed. And I was like, yeah, all right.
Every word you guys are saying, it's just my
Repainted.
interest.
It was right there.
Yeah.
They also mentioned like it's less of like you said, more mechanics, less
Yeah.
walking sim, more. I didn't say it was gonna be action, but
So you can't die in that first game. You can try as hard as you want.
Yeah.
Nothing kills you.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you die in this? And they're like, yeah. You can. We don't want to say that as the marketing slogan, but yes, you can die.
I hope that's the tagline.
Yes, you can die.
Die. That seems like an interesting. I feel like we've spent weeks thinking that we were going to see Silent Hill 2, right? And now knowing that it is just a remix, like
They are remixing the first two games, stitching them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some new perspectives. They were telling me I haven't played the first two.
No.
But I guess there's some moments in the first game where like there's a jump scare when you're going down an elevator. They were saying, well, in this game, there's going to be more content. You're going to be able to play the thing that was the original jump scare
Gotcha.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the kind of the opposite of the FS7 remake, where instead of taking one game and turning it into like 5 parts,
Yeah.
they're taking 2 parts and putting them into one
the
game.
one game,
Which I kind of appreciate to an extent, yeah.
well,
And it'll look
busy.
prettier too.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they were like using like the URP in Unity back then or what, but it'll be I imagine a significant
Right.
step up graphically. So
Yeah. And I was confused why the A was dropping in the.
that's just graphic design,
Yeah.
man. I was like, they gotta make room for the of.
Yeah, I mean that's just never mind. So.
I get it. You can make the of smaller.
So, yeah, but
I like it. I like
is
the
what it
lower
is.
day.
Okay, you have a better eye for that than I do. So, yeah, interesting announcement. I'm trying to think. We touched on Witchfire, but
Yeah.
looks just like Doom with magic in medieval times.
Yes.
I'm kind of here for it. So.
Yeah.
Was that the Mick Gordon game or was that a different game?
Oh, what was the Mick Gordon game?
That was I think it was a different one.
Was
I
that
don't
the
think there was a
was that
setup
the
for Witchfire,
Fort
right?
Solus one, I think.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Witchfire they just went into it.
Oh yeah, because they
it's-
said
it's coming
Fort
early.
Solus had like familiar faces, and it was Troy Baker and Roger Clark, and then a soundtrack. Yeah. That tracks.
I don't know. This morning's a blur. I could be
Yes.
totally wrong.
Also, we talked about it on the stream. Is that the first time Troy Baker's come out since the NFT thing?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he is still alive. Okay.
Does he still do his podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I have not seen him since the NFT stuff, man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So I don't know. Did anyone have any thoughts on Fort Solus other than just like more space horror?
That was one of the ones I need to go back and watch,
Mm-hmm.
just because that just happened to come on during a time when I was like really writing something. But the time I caught of it, like the Dead Space stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they straight up used the word Dead Space, right? Like, I think Troy Baker said like it's like Dead Space.
Yeah.
I mean, by default, I'm like, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that looks too early for me. It's like, it looks cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But I need to see more of it.
That's one of those games that has the potential to be like a big sleeper hit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see it.
that's fair.
So, and also Roger Clark literally just is Arthur Morgan, like as a person.
Oh my God, yeah.
He made you cry. is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
He yelled
He
Dutch
just-
on the stream.
Yeah.
I was taken, yeah.
That's a good girl.
Force
Yeah,
those.
he can't turn it off.
Yeah, for sure. You can't. It's when that's your voice, you know. That makes
Which
it
is a
hard
good
to-
place to, forgive me, a
Yeah.
good place to segue to maybe the Last of Us stuff in the TV show and,
Okay.
and them being involved. We're talking about Troy Baker.
Oh, I don't want to ruin your segue, but I do want to point out one thing.
Damn it.
Jeff Keighley has never said the words Monkey D. Luffy in his life. And like, because he said it like he's like an Italian, like Monkey D. Luffy.
I kind of like that better. And like if they ever did like a live action, actually they are making a live
Yeah, they
action
are.
movie.
They're
Like,
wasting
that's
a
what
lot
they-
of money on a live action One Piece.
Yeah, I saw that boat. They should have just called him like Mike. God, I forgot his name. Monkey DeLuffy.
Yeah.
Like that's how they get around it. Like no, that's my father's name. Or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
good.
Yeah, I forgot about
One
the
Piece.
One Piece game. Yeah,
Yeah, you're not a big One Piece guy?
not a big One Piece guy.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
I don't-
all 1,000 episodes. Of the,
No, I missed
I don't
those.
think that trailer is going to do anything for anyone who doesn't like One Piece already.
Right.
Like, as someone who likes One Piece, that game looks cool.
Yeah.
But, like, that could not have been a stranger trailer that also introduced every character as if we didn't know them.
Yeah, right, like the
Well,
gang's all
honestly,
here.
for me,
Yeah.
I know, like, Zoro. Is that
Yeah.
his name? I called him Zuko.
You called him Zuko.
Zuko.
Sorry, yeah.
Zoro, I know him. I know Luffy.
Yeah.
I know some others. I don't know any others. But that actually like did something for me. As somebody who does not know anything about One Piece, I'm not the biggest JRPG fan, but I have a familiarity with One Piece because I've watched a few episodes as a teenager. And I was like, oh, this kind of looks cool. Because I'm not a JRPG guy. The high fantasy JRPGs don't really do much for me, just because I don't have like any sort of I guess relationship or context.
No nostalgia for it. I guess.
Yeah. And this was like at least like a touch point for me. And I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, I could see this.
Yeah.
For some, well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is it turn based?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We were wondering that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I've kind of been on the edge of. I've been in this. We were talking about this at dinner last night. I've been in this mood to like get back into some older anime. Talking about rewatching Naruto, or we were talking about DBZ.
Yeah.
And One Piece also falls into that category for me because I was probably a month or so that I watched that show.
Yeah.
It's probably like 4 episodes.
For real.
But
yeah.
there's like a piece of me that's like, oh, I should go and consume all
Piece of you.
117 episodes. One piece of me, yeah.
About, like, I want to say 10 years ago, I decided I was going to read the entire manga. And up to that point, it took me about 2 weeks to read through it all.
Oh my god.
What?
I kept along for about a couple of years. I feel like I'm only one arc behind, but that was 4 years ago. It will take me a long time to get.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah. I have no comment on it. It looks.
I'll check it out maybe.
good.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So, do you want to try that transition again?
Yeah, so you know Dutch
Yes.
from the game Red Dead Redemption.
He has a plan, I heard.
That's a good girl.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that. Well, speaking of people that can't turn it off,
It's
Ashley
okay.
Johnson
Yeah.
not playing Ellie in the TV show.
Yeah, okay.
But is going to be a character in the TV show. I'm sorry, I
Right.
can't picture
So-
it.
Yeah, Troy Baker too.
We
Yeah.
can
Let's
you
set
know
the scene. So
yeah.
the one last thing was Naughty Dog. It
Yeah.
was that they were going to be there. That was going to be the big thing. As we talked about earlier, completely leaked, not by anyone online, but by literally Sony themselves. Their website, they let the trailer go early and stuff like that. Hurt feelings were definitely apparent. Like Neil joked about it at least 2 or 3 times, like you said earlier. But there was 3 parts to this, and the show was a part of it, and it was announced that Ashley Johnson, who voiced Ellie, and then Troy Baker, who voiced Joel, are going to be in the show.
as more than cameos.
Right. They literally said it didn't feel right to have them as just background. It's like, okay, but that's Ellie and Joel. Like, what is the separation here?
Well,
Like,
what I was saying was Troy's normal voice isn't Joel.
right.
Yeah.
Ashley is Ellie.
Yeah. Like,
And it's going to be
through.
so weird to hear her play another character
There's
that
gonna
isn't
be
Ellie.
Yeah.
there's gonna be a scene where Joel and Ellie are like walking through some abandoned town, and then they come across this lovely couple, and then they're like, hey, do you want to maybe spend the night with us? Get away from these clickers. And there's going to be a whole like half hour of them trading stories.
God.
And they're like, wow, you sound similar to what we went through. And, it's hard out here, and it's just going to be really on the nose. And but I'm going to love it anyway.
Yeah.
I think what they should do is they should meet Troy Baker. I don't care which character he is, but they say, hey, what do you do for fun? And Troy Baker says, I like to golf. And then who's the main character of Last of Us again? Joel says, no, I hate golfing.
That's good.
That's
Yes.
really good.
And that should
good.
just be it. That should be the only thing.
Yeah.
I
Did
like
we
that.
fight each other? You think like Pedro Pascal and Troy Baker?
Well, that's where I thought you were going with your idea was they
Joel
invite them
versus
in,
Joel.
they invite them in, and then they're like, are bad people and
Try
they
to-
get killed off that episode, but they have more of a significant episode,
Right.
Yeah, people can't get mad if Joel kills Joel.
Yeah.
That's
well,
true. Mod that into The Last of Us too.
Oh, yeah.
God.
So show's not out till next year. It sounds like we're going to start getting more, because production, I think, is almost wrapped on that show. But it sounds like we're going to get more information before the year is out. So hype levels for Last of Us, year and A.
I like Pedro a lot. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think the cast is good. I'm curious to see how they actually make that game into a show because that's not always an easy process, especially making a I don't know if you've seen this week's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No,
Making a well-paced show very difficult.
Okay.
So we'll see how the Last of Us
Right.
It could always turn out that show is just not very good. So I'm not trying to
Right.
get too hyped up about it too fast.
Right.
But again, Pedro Pascal is wonderful.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, I think he's going to kind of carry that show.
For sure. And I think if you would have told me the writer of the Hangover movies was helming this, I would have been like, what? But since Craig Mazin did Chernobyl, I was like, okay, he at least gets a nihilistic tone that I think this show would definitely need. So,
Yeah.
But so we'll find out more about that next year. I'm imagining that's like late next year for that show.
Yeah.
But the other two pieces of it, so let's do the game first that leaked. So Last of Us Part 1 is a thing built from the ground up for PS5 according to PlayStation. It looks beautiful, but to me it still feels kind of unnecessary. I don't know where everyone's at right now. I know you feel similarly.
Yeah, I don't know if I could feel more indifferent. I guess because of even seeing that trailer, you're like, that sure is The Last of Us.
Yep.
And I adore that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Right.
But again, I feel like, especially because that remaster in 2014, I think is still an excellent way to experience that game. I don't feel anything. It's cool that it exists for people that have not played it yet. But yeah, it's like this doesn't really need to happen to me.
Yeah.
It's like, because they're not doing, like you said, they're not changing anything in terms of like narrative or anything like that. Like
Right.
it's just
Narrative, no. Mechanics are changing a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Yep. So it sounds like combat's being modernized a little bit more similar to, I would imagine.
Probably just
similar
plays
Yeah.
like two.
Like two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and like that's awesome, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my tune because Naughty Dog has a penchant for like announcing something. I'm like, I don't know if I want to play that between like even Last of Us 2. I was like, I don't need to sequel to The Last of Us.
Right.
It ended perfectly, and then I came out and was like, actually, never mind. I love this. Same
Right,
with Uncharted, Lost Legacy, Uncharted 4 wrapped up great. Why are we doing this other thing? Oh, I actually love this.
Right.
So maybe when this comes out, I'm just like, I'm gonna run through this and like, wow, this is amazing. What a great remake. I think just for now, I'm just kind of like lukewarm on it. In terms of like hype, I think it'll be a great game because
Right.
it's already a great game.
Right.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Feel
Like
the same way?
the show, or this game exists because the show exists. Like
Yeah.
it's very clear why they're remaking The Last of Us. I don't think necessarily that it's too recent because it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
But also like between this and Resident Evil 4, I feel like we're getting to this point of, okay, this looks better. I think. Like
Yeah.
this looks like my memories of the game.
Right. Yeah. That's
Right.
what you said on stream, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
And I don't know what they can do for this game that makes me really eager to replay The Last of Us again. Because I played it twice, which is honestly more than I do for most games.
Right, yeah.
And I don't, if they keep saying remade from the ground up, which can't tell if that's a deficiency from me, that I can't tell, like it doesn't feel like it's remade from the ground up,
Right,
or it's a
yeah.
deficiency in the game that it's not actually like, because when you say remake, I think like FF7 remake, or I
Right.
think of Resident Evil 2,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one just looks like a texture pack in some ways.
Yeah.
It really does. Like
Yeah.
They
watching
even
that
said
trailer, I
like
was
voice lines are
really-
the same.
Right.
Like they've
Yeah.
just attached them to new, assets.
Right.
Well,
and-
did they mention at all? I'm sorry. if they were incorporating Left Behind in any way.
So that
They
was
showed
in the
screens of
trailer.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
in the trailer. They showed that, which I actually never played. So it's like,
Oh.
cool. Like this will be the best way to play that DLC. You know what I mean? But like, that still doesn't feel like enough for me to like. I don't know. This isn't fair to them, but it's like I keep wondering like what they could have been making if they weren't making this. You
I think
know
that's
what mean?
fair.
So I don't know, but
I think the best part of this is that now both games are named the same format.
Part 1 and 2,
part 2. I'm
yeah.
like, okay, thank God.
Now it feels like a real series.
Sheesh, yeah. So September 2nd for that, coming to PC as well. So like, I don't know, Steam Deck maybe, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't feel meh about The Last of Us. You know what I mean? And that's what scares me about Sony's like cross-platform, or not cross-platform, multimedia push now. It's like, are they just gonna do like we're getting the Twisted Metal show, right? Are we gonna get a game that's
we
not
need
great?
to
You know what I
Twisted
mean?
Metal
I
back.
mean, I would
man.
take a remake of Twisted Metal like
Yeah.
all day.
Right. I don't know. It feels like we get a look into the future here, and I don't know. I'm not as thrilled about it. But.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you remake what is considered one of the best games of all time,
Yeah.
there should be a louder pop.
Right.
And there just wasn't really this time. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
cool. I might try this.
Yeah. Right.
Like the equivalent of The Last of Us should not be you go to the frozen yogurt bar and like, I don't know, sprinkles will be fine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You want the Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Maybe not from
You want Wagyu beef on your ice cream, bud?
I mean, if that's also in the free ingredient like toppings, I'll just throw that on there.
On the side,
Might as
maybe.
well, yeah. Yeah. So September for that. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, like I'm sitting here like being mad, but I'll play it.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
won't.
like I said, I think it's cool for people that have not played that game at all.
right.
Have they? I know pre-orders are up. Do you know if it's $70?
60 I saw.
Okay.
Really?
I think it was 60.
That's hard to believe to me.
That being a discount price is also bad, but like,
Right.
I guess that's better than being full price.
full 70.
I would, I will not buy that game full price.
Yeah. I'm gonna triple check it, but I'm pretty sure Wario 64's screen grabs were $60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, again, to go back to the name change, what a great way to build sales for Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see that part 1, you already instantly know, like, I guess there's another
That is
one
very
at least.
smart, yeah.
They should. Is there a patch for PS5 compatibility on part 2?
Ooh.
I don't think
feel like
there is.
Yeah,
Didn't
that-
they?
I
They
don't
didn't do
think
like a new
so.
gen patch for that? I
Because
thought
my
they
theory
did.
was they were waiting on that to put out factions, and they
Oh, man.
never did that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
standalone now.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a second.
So
Yeah.
they should probably work on that then. Make a PS5 patch for that game.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
this is how they're buying time with it. Sorry, I'm just looking through this now, but
It's at least $60.
yeah, it's at least 60.
Live fact checking, folks.
Yeah.
It's live TV.
Scrolling, you know, you can
Yeah.
just search his username with Last of Us
But
Part
hey, I
1.
wouldn't know that Sunset Overdrive is $5 on Steam.
Oh, that's
Yo,
a good
like,
dude. Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You got to check if it's
Like that,
verified,
so,
man.
Okay, well, we can put it.
We'll
in.
put the giant price of Last of Us
Post, yeah.
Part 1. Yeah, I'll remember to do that for
We'll
sure.
post it as
Store
you're sprinting
page.
through midnight, yeah.
It'll be the web browser capture of us going through Wario's, but we still won't be searching at Wario 64.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. The first thing that Naughty Dog talked about, but the last thing I think gave me a little bit of excitement is we got like the teasiest tease of what their multiplayer game looks like. They're not calling it Factions, at least right now.
Yeah.
They showed a screenshot and kind of talked about what they've already been talking about, I guess, a little bit, where it's like the scope is so big that they're just continuing to like.
They said
build it
it's
out,
as big
if not bigger.
in some cases as their other games. Which,
Right.
But what does that mean? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We were speculating like because of the concept art is like these two new characters, and they said it was new cast of characters. Or somehow they're going to be telling a story.
Yeah,
In some
there's a whole narrative in it,
some
yeah.
way. Yeah. And we were talking about what if it was like a DayZ thing, not necessarily battle royale, but you are in this open world with other players, but it is more. When you're playing Last of Us, you're not running into hordes of people all that much. It's kind of like these lone travelers that you run into, and the DayZ formula would work really well with that. And then you mentioned, well, maybe you're bringing back resources to like your house, kind of like what that free to play Vigor game did, Escape from Tarkov. You kind of have this base you're building up in your instance, and then when you go out into the world, your instance with other players.
Right.
I don't know. Could be cool. Could be battle royale. I feel like
Could be
it's
Fallout
not.
76.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't know.
But like, I am curious.
With
Like,
humans though, there are people in the game.
Oh, okay.
like, how did this get so far away from them? Like, this sounds cool. It sounds like an interesting project.
Yeah.
How did the scope go from this is the multiplayer to Last of Us 2
Right.
to a standalone, possibly like giant world that's as
Yeah.
big as the rest of their games thing?
To me, it feels like, and we talked about in the
Feature
stream,
creep.
like, is it, well, feature creep, 100%, but like, Sony has said they're now getting into live stream, or
Live service.
live service
Yeah.
games, and it's like, is this going to be the first one that they push out that's like this? I don't know.
The Last of Us Battle Pass.
Oh God, get golf club.
Would we ever get a Last of Us Destiny shooter like game?
I hope not. That doesn't seem like
Where you get
the
like
spirit of
the
either
Galahorn.
of those. Yeah. Blow away mutated.
You're like, dang it,
Like,
I need to get my God roll.
Spin an hour.
Which shout out to Fanbyte for those Destiny guides. I've read those
Gotta
recently.
spend an
Comic
hour
records,
fighting this
guys,
one
yeah.
clicker.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's part of why Sony is presumably buying Destiny or Bungie, right? Is to get that expertise there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what this. We don't know what this looks like other than it's a big.
We have one image,
Yeah.
and we couldn't even figure out what city it was because the laptop was like 6 feet
Yeah, I
away
was
from
like,
us.
was it San Francisco?
I was like, is that the Brooklyn Bridge? That doesn't
What
make
What
it
a
New
weird
York.
way to do that, by the way. Just showing Jeff Keighley some like JPEGs on the computer.
This is what it. Yeah.
You didn't
like,
have a producer you
what?
could give a thumb drive to, or anything? Like,
Why didn't he have any embarrassing tabs up?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I like.
What city was it though? For real?
They made me feel
Was it
so
SF?
stupid because it was like we all know what that is. I was like,
I don't. I can't tell.
Can't
So
tell.
you're better than yeah. SF was my first guess, but I could be wrong.
It's SF, right?
I did not
The bridge
recognize
was
it
like
as
the
a
Golden Gate Bridge, a little bit in the background.
Yeah, you live there, right?
Yeah.
What bridge was
Was that
it?
at your house? Like, yeah.
Neil Druckmann came there with like pen and a pencil and just
Yeah, he's a really
That's
good,
like-
really
yeah.
good illustrator, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts on multiplayer?
On the city? Oh, I thought we were just gonna say
Yeah, where can I get a bite to eat? Like
Singapore.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. I don't know. I think I'm excited for that. I guess if they're gonna do it, I'm happy that they're taking their time with it instead of like being a single player studio who's like, yeah, we'll make a multiplayer game. That never works out. I feel like. So I don't know. Thoughts? Anyone?
I'm very excited. I was excited for factions if that was going to be a thing. So like the first one, but you know me, I'm a big multiplayer guy. I would love to see like a fleshed out. Hello.
So what do you?
Yeah, he's honking. We have a honk for Last of Us factions outside the window. I'm interested to see what like a bigger, larger scope multiplayer title could be from Naughty Dog and their partners. I think it has potential to be really cool. Hot take. Could be cool.
Could be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imran, how about you?
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. Especially if it like what they're saying they expanded on the scope, so it's not just they like go in there and play multiplayer and then eventually stop
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it's a like I don't perceive it as a Destiny like, but like a Valheim like Escape from
Yeah,
Tarkov
yeah.
kind of thing. That could be something that keeps my attention far longer than what the previous multiplayer things they've done with Uncharted and Last of Us was.
Yeah. So, what about you, Marcus?
Wait and see. I never played the first game's faction, so I don't have any like feelings on it.
This is the
but
guy who has no feelings towards Halo. So I don't.
Halo's.
This could be his moment to get into multiplayer.
No, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say. I mean, Naughty Dog has given me one of my favorite underrated multiplayer modes, and that is Uncharted 2's multiplayer.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
there's precedent.
They've proven they can rope me in with their multiplayer, so I want to see more of it. I think the most interesting question I ask myself is whether or not this comes out first or RE-verse.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's a fun little race in my head.
There's no winners in that race.
Oh my god. Yeah. It would be interesting. I don't know when we get that though. He was like, you're not going to hear about this till next year. So it's like, does that mean like late 2023? Does it mean 2024? Like,
If we're not going to hear about
I feel like they've
Right.
got to get that thing out the door if they're.
If it were me and like it's not a matter of this game is coming out the second it's ready, I would probably have part one right now,
Yep.
seeding the ground for the TV show,
Yep.
let the TV show run, and then have the game like ready when that thing is over.
right. And then that buys them time for whatever Druckmann's working on next, because that was the other weird part of that. It was like, what are you doing next? And he's like, well, I'm sure someone on Twitter will leak it, but I'm working on a game that can't announce right now. And it's like, oh, you are so mad right now. Like, oh my god.
We get it.
Yeah. So that wrapped everything up. No one last thing, but I think that basically does it for the first day of SGF.
Yeah.
We did. They did Devolver Stream. I think the thing I'm most excited for, I almost said Cuphead. Cuphead looked good too.
Yeah.
Cult of the Lamb gets a release date finally, August 11th. I think I said.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that. But other than that, I think we'll call that a show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Imran, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It feels like home to be.
Does it? Good.
Good, because you're in my bedroom.
Before we sign off, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about with our audience? Here?
Go to fanbyte.com, click around for a while, stay around 5 minutes.
Okay.
I think that's the ideal
right.
number crunching number. Just like we've got what we call hot game summer coverage all weekend. I think, we're going to have a bunch of previews in the next couple of days about stuff we're playing here.
Cool.
Great.
And where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at ImranZomg.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you again, sir. Marcus, thank you. We have a ton of hands-on stuff coming as well. Like we said, GI Show every night or morning, depending on what part of the country
We will
you're
see
in.
how our internet does.
Yeah, exactly. So it should be interesting. But thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. And I was gonna say game on like I was Ben Reeves. I was like, no, that's not. That's not what I think. Yeah.
No game on.
We'll see you next time.
Don't game.
Game off.
Game on.